truth is that, in part we have used money of the analysts and the investors, and by the way, they're crying, So I remember an anecdote, I'm sorry once again. So I was interacting with an auto company which actually went in for a listing and called off its listing. I won't name the company, so you'll understand. And the person who was actually engaged with me from the finance department of that company, he put out some targets for the company. And since I managed the entire show for that organization, he was also asking me to invest a certain amount of his capital on the equity market. Now he had two views when it came to return. When I asked him why has that particular, his own company not returned, he had a long list and he was very keen that I understand his rationale. But the same logic, if I would give him on the return that did not happen on his own capital, he was not willing to buy that. So that is the reality which I think most return and most analysts look at. So I'll just end with this, that if there is money, whether it's in the shape of debt or whether it's in the shape of equity, it has to yield a return. And business today has the option of looking at technology, of reviewing business on a weekly basis if need be. So it's important to use that and to apply it, whether it's an Excel, whether it's any other tool, it has to work for the business. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely right. Thanks, Deepak. Actually, it's true that if CEOs listen to CFOs, the world would actually be a much better place. The whole scenario we're facing now is a question of over-leveraging when the whole world was looking nice and rosy. And everybody was looking one way with blinkers in their eyes. And when things turn around, they don't know what to do. And when things turn around and stay turned around for a long period of time, some of them collapse, some of them, just linger on, and some of them stand strong and do well. Those who stand strong and do well are actually the ones, who's evaluating things, who's got the right focus, and who's employing right strategies in a bad market. So ultimately, I think it's a question of you should not depend on the market. The market can be a friend, can be an enemy. I mean, it'll never go the way you want to. And leave the market to traders. I mean, it's their job to make money or lose money. As far as CFOs are concerned, I mean, you can either be a CFO or you can either be a fund manager or a trader. And the job of a fund manager and trader is much different from the job of a CFO. So taking a call on where equities will go, what's going to be a FCCB conversion price 5 years down the line, I think it's best left to the hedge fund managers, not for the CFOs. And that's why I think every business which actually leveraged has gone wrong completely. And I hope it's a lesson learned to all. Anyway, thanks for coming, and it's open for interaction with the panelists. Thank you very much. Any questions you have, you can please throw it out.
People, CFOs being addicted to it, is X hell. We all live in an... And the other thing is, about, at least I believe in eating our dog food. So before it's served out to others, check it out. So I'm a big believer in deploying systems, using technology, making it work for ourselves. So my first thing, whenever we'll find a new solution, because what are we really? I mean, we are really the bridge between the world of solutions and our customer needs. And my first attempt is, let's deploy it in-house. Let's check it out. Is it going to work for us? And if it works for us, we'll dish it out to others. Thanks. A lot of this stuff really works. I mean, what you mentioned about budgeting and planning and all this stuff really works.
Sure.
What I'd like to mention is technology is an enabler, but it's also an influencer. The way you measure business success, the way you measure business profitability, the way you drive business can be. I'll give you a small example. branches of, I was working for Grindlays at some point of time. So when we used to consolidate results, from all 56 branches, accountants would fly in from each region with reams of papers, reams of spreadsheets, which people would enter in a FoxPro-based program and get consolidated results out. Visibility only once in a half year. And it was intensely manual process, like you rightly say, there were inconsistencies, etc. We moved on to PeopleSoft. And when we were sitting with business in defining what we want the system to do, immediately we got a question, will it deliver branch profitability? Now, we moved, underlying businesses moved into anywhere banking. So the reply given by a very good friend who's techie, and he specializes in overlaying PeopleSoft solutions over core banking software. So he said, if I was the branch manager, I'll just give my account opening, I'll ask my salesman to stand outside the other branches, doling out the account opening forms, because the moment the home branch is written over there, whole branch profitability will come to me. So the vision changed from branch profitability to channel and product profitability. One of the reasons also was there are a lot of central costs which cannot be farmed out to individual branches in a transparent manner. The transaction-based costing of operations cannot be farmed out to the branches. So these at that point of time were held centrally. So at that point of time, channel profitability and product profitability became important. As technology evolves and you are able to then farm out come up with transaction-based cost and load it back to the branches, give credit to branches which are servicing and debit to branches to where the customers belong, and get little more granular data, then you are also able to push back into branch profitability area. So again, you land up in a situation where branch profitability becomes also an important tool, because the type of the customer they are sourcing, are they sourcing transaction intensive customers which are just depositing cash and removing it next day through RTGS, or are they getting customers who are actually adding value to the business? Now, so the whole circle comes back through technology, and understanding and leveraging that technology to what it has to offer is the key challenge for the CFO as to how do we make use of that.
There has to be a continuous process, exactly. And also not, if you're looking at branch-wise profitability, there was this bank which kept on saying that 60% of my customers are not profitable. So when we asked them that, well, how do you say that? Well, we look at customer profitability and we see that customers are not profitable. Then again you ask some questions, we found out that the allocation logic given to the customers was wrong. Right? This bank has a huge corporate IT expense, and you allocate the IT expense down to all the customers, keeping the opening balance as the one of the measure of allocation, right? One of the drivers of allocation. But you realize that none of this IT actually added value to that customer. But we allocate costs which doesn't have any meaning to it. So then you again have a very wrong picture. So even the methodologies, right? Today using a driver-based allocation process or using the right KPIs also becomes very, very important in the business analysis process.
The transparency of how those drivers have been arrived at and what business can do to move those drivers becomes very important. I mean, you may measure branch profitability, but if the branch manager does not know as to which levers he has to pull, he has to start looking at a different customer segment which will be more profitable for him. If it is just something which has come down from finance and IT as to this is your cost, then it doesn't, that's what I think you're rightly saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what the stress was.